Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tigercraft, episode 6. So, as you can see, I'm trying something a little bit different this time. Instead of a live stream, like the last 5 episodes, I've decided that, you know, doing screen recordings and then editing the videos a little bit will make them a little more viewable for, well, you folks, my viewers. Let's get started. Okay, so since the last video on this series, I decided to make it easier to find the village of Vinewood. I should have done this a while back when we first discovered the village. So we have our magenta blocks, or cones as I like to call them, blocks marking a path toward the village of Vinewood. However, we are not going to follow that exact path because look at the terrain. If you look closely, it's nothing but a big old cliff. And like we did on our private road build here, we kind of followed the terrain and just kind of wiggled our way through the forests and down toward the river and everything. And it made for a much nicer looking build, I think. So, and instead of this worn down looking road, we're actually going to be on a 2-lane highway going. We're going to start going off in this direction here. So um, that's why I haven't connected this bit of the bridge just yet. It really is just a bridge to nowhere for the moment. But that'll soon change. Let's get started by, well, getting rid of a lot of trees again. And the reason why I don't want to destroy this mountain or dig over it or through it is because of this. As you know, recently Minecraft did a update on here that, well, allowed us to have geysers. Wow, talk about perfect timing. So we have geysers now, and honestly, I think many cool builds could come from these geysers here. Like, you could maybe make a factory and then, like, have the smoke, coming out of the chimneys and stuff like that. And I mean, there's a lot of options. The possibilities are endless with these new geysers. I think it's really, really cool. But anyway, let's go to our road here, or our bridge, and let's get building. Let's get started right now. So obviously, when we're building a road, we need our base, or we need our what is it? Embankment. We need our road embankment. Ugh, come on, sheep, get out of the way. You are in the way of progress. And let's get some gravel. Then we'll get our road building materials. And then where is, yeah, the black wool. That's what we're gonna need. And then, let's see, where's the gray concrete? There we go. Alrighty, so here we go. We have our bridge, and now we have our connection with the soon-to-be main road, with our private road, and we're gonna obviously have to. We're obviously gonna have to cut down a lot of trees to make progress on this. So let's get started doing that. Let's chop down some trees. And to all the tree huggers out there, I'm sorry, you might want to look away, because we have to cut down a lot of trees. Like a lot. Because this road is actually going to be a lot wider than the one that we built from the house, the starter base. So we burned down a big chunk of the trees, but now we have all this open space that we can start building our main road in. So let's start filling in some blocks here. I'm gonna put some gravel. There we go. Do some terraforming here. There we go. I'd say that looks pretty good. Some yellow terracotta for the center stripe, as well as some yellow concrete to give it a little bit of a repainted look. And then we'll count out 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll chop that off a little bit, and then we'll put that in like that. Make it look like there's been some patchwork done to the road. It won't look as run down as the private road, but just adding some details so that the build stands out just a little bit. And you can see why we have to kind of dig the hillside out just a little bit here, so that we can add a retaining wall and also the other lane. And we might need TNT for that job. So let's get our good old friend Tunta. Or I'm just being silly. Turn and burn. Alrighty, and there we go. We now have a connection from the private road to the bridge to our main road. Now we can start building in this direction toward Vinewood, and before we do that, we're going to add some details. We're going to build a retaining wall here and kind of fix up the landscape because it kind of looks ugly. So let's get rid of all this for the time being, and let's select some other blocks. Let's get some mushroom block. And let's start cutting this little bit up right here. In fact, I need to just add a little more detail there. There we go. And then we can continue digging out this little section of the cliffside here. Because what I'm digging out right now is going to be the retaining wall. So we'll start by putting in the base of the wall. I like to use mushroom stem because it looks almost like a K-rail that you see on highways and stuff. So it looks like a K-rail barrier. It looks like a barrier that protects your vehicle from going into a cliff or going over it, or etc., etc., etc. And now I'm going to get some brown mushroom block and mud bricks, and I'm going to just start randomly placing the brown mushroom block. Just going to start randomly placing it. And then I will put in some mud bricks. And I would say that looks pretty good. Then I will go to our block selection and get some andesite slab, and stone stairs. I'll just add a couple more little more brick here, and I'll fill in a little more of this behind the retaining wall. And there we go, just like that. We have a nice retaining wall for our road. And now we gotta switch it to daytime, that way you can see it better. And like I promised earlier, we will get our bone meal here, and then we are going to replant some of the trees that we burned down. There we go, nice big tree. I always love the big trees in Minecraft. Add some weeds and whatnot, and wildflowers. I'd say that looks pretty good. All right, now that we got that done, I think we need to add some guardrail as well. We'll do some New York style guardrail here. And there we go. I'd say that looks pretty good. And we'll do the same thing on this side as well. There we go. That looks pretty good. Get our, whoops. We'll get our moss block here. Kind of decorate this side as well because I want it to match this side a little bit. Got some firefly bushes. Got some wildflowers. Make that look a little overgrown as well. Let's see, and let's also get our trees back out again. We'll add some weeds and stuff on this side here as well. Whoops. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Nice big tree there. Kind of hides the corner there. Kind of hides the end of the bridge there, which I like. I like that a lot. And of course, we are going to need, let's see here. We're going to need a sign, or we're going to need a stop sign. There we go. So there we go. We have a stop sign and street signs. And I think it would be a good idea and a fun idea to add let's see here. Where is it? There it is. That's what we need. Let's see here. Need to make sure that this isn't too short. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. So now we have a street light and a stop sign and some street signs. And now I think we should add some directional signs. I've never tried something like this in Minecraft before. I don't know if I'd be the first person to do it, but I want to do something different for my world build here. So I'm going to have to break out the trusty laptop here. But I do know for a fact that in order to make these signs, I am going to need a loom and a green banner and a white banner, and I'm also going to need a lot of white dye and a lot of green dye and also some black dye as well. So now, okay, we have our street light, we have our retaining wall, we have our stop sign complete with road signs. Now I need to go on Google and look up arrow banners Minecraft. And I'm also going to need posts. For the time being, I'm just going to leave it like that. Let's see if I'm leaving out. Yep, that'll look good right there. I know I should add another post now, but you'll see why I only added one and only a part of the sign. Vinewood. Let's see, I'll put that away in there. I'll get our arrow banner out. I'd say that looks pretty good, wouldn't you say? That looks great. Now we know which direction Vinewood is. And then, in case we go this direction and find another village, put a arrow going that way. We haven't found our second village out of 5 yet. And there we go. I'd say that looks pretty good. Now let's continue building toward, well, let's continue building toward Vinewood. Have to cut more trees down. In this case, I'll do a controlled burn. Got to get rid of some more trees here. Okay, so, alrighty. So now I have this section of embankment and roadbed, I guess you could say, all set to go. However, if you notice, I need a flat spot to put the gravel in before we put the concrete down. So here's where I get creative when I do builds like this. So I always have a pen and paper nearby, just in case, and I will write down the coordinates that you see up there in the left-hand corner, right there. So a good way, let's see, let me find that. Let me find that notepad. There we go. All right, so I have my notepad, I have my pen, and then so I'm going to write down the coordinates. I'm going to start at the lowest point where I want to fill the square that I have set up. So we'll write down 729, we'll go down to 60, and then negative 372, and then we will go to the opposite corner, which is right here, and then we'll write down that set of coordinates, 763, 67, negative 388. And there we go. Now we go to our chat and commands, and I call these tools, so I'm going to use the fill command or tool, and I'm going to type in /fill 729 60 372, and then I'm going to put in the second bit of coordinates, 763 67 negative 388, and put in what type of block I want, in this case dirt, and then I'm going to hit that, and it fills it up. Gives me a nice flat surface to build on. And now we are ready to add our gravel. And we can use those same coordinates again. Watch this. Fill 729. And we'll do 69, 372, 763, 69, 388, and we'll put in gravel. And watch this. Boom! It falls right into place. It's just like building a real road in real life. Leveling out the terrain, putting in gravel, leveling it out. And there we go. Whoops, there's a floating log there. Now we have another big section of road finished, but we're going to soon have to start curving because we're drifting pretty far from those magenta cones or blocks that I placed out. But by the looks of it, by curving this direction and just kind of following the river, it will be the flattest terrain to build in. So before we do that, let's get our road building blocks. Whoop, can't forget the white. And there we go. Another bit of road has been completed. Now I need to add just some more. Need to add some more guardrail here. So we'll put in the posts. And then we'll put the rail in like that. Let's see here, there we go. And then I'll also finish the little end here of the retaining wall. There we go. Then I'll do this. There we go. There we go. And I'll even add some guardrail right here as well. But this one will be a little shorter. And there we go. I would say that looks pretty good. It finally feels like we are on our way to the village. Oh, and also there's one thing I actually totally forgot to do. I want to put some routes. I want to actually make routes. So this road, so instead of numbers, I want to kind of do what the state of Missouri does. And that is they label some of their routes as letters, and I kind of like that. I've always liked that for some reason. So I don't know where that pig is coming from. Anyway, as I was saying, Missouri, the state of Missouri, always does stuff. They always do their state highways with letters. They use letters for their state highway routes, and I want to do the same thing here in my build. I've always liked Missouri because of the lettered routes, so let's do that. Since this is the first major road in our build, this is just going to be Route A. Let's see, and I'll add another road sign. This will be fun. This one will be a little shorter here. Oh yeah, and there's also another thing I want to add. And that would be oh, what is it? Let's see here. Whoops. Actually, having it right here is just fine. And then we'll put the little reflectors on like that. There we go. Get rid of that. And then we will go back down to where we're storing the stuff. Put an arrow this way, put an arrow that way, put the letter A. Right there's fine. There we go. Then we'll put up a sign right here. Route A. Alrighty, I'd say that's a good spot to wrap it up for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you wish. And as always, thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next episode of Tigercraft. Happy Minecrafting, everybody!